We had quite an extraordinary news day yesterday. It is pretty rare, I would say, that you see in the course of an hour two people so close to the President of the United States either being convicted or pleading to a conviction. In fact, I would say we've never seen this before in the history. Well, in the history of the American public, it is pretty extraordinary. And they say, may you live in interesting times. I would have been perfectly happy not. I would have been fine just living in slightly more boring times. That would have been fine for me. Well, I get I'm having a little problems here with my computer for some reason. Oh.
It reminds me of how I got really into Watergate, thinking that was as exciting as politics got, and then this is sort of like, it's like the steroid era of baseball.
Yeah, this is it's pretty crazy, and there's the Manafort stuff is somewhat interesting. The Cohen stuff is obviously, I think, a little bit more interesting. Although both are hugely relevant, it's quite possible the Manafort stuff is actually more interesting to Mueller right now. But we will talk about that in a moment. But last night, you should know that following these announcements, right, and we'll talk also about the Duncan Hunter indictment of him and his wife, for something as mundane as spending campaign funds on all sorts of personal stuff. But it is pretty stunning that Donald Trump is really becoming, at best, right? This is the most generous perspective of him, as some type of like divining rod for the worst people. If they're around him or supportive of him, that's almost a prima facie case that they're corrupt.
That they're entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Corrupt entrepreneur. It's funny that you say that, because the yacht that the head of the Republican on the tax subcommittee that he got a loan from.
Really?
Yep.
Please tell me.
It's called the Entrepreneur. We'll talk about that in a moment. But
that's so good.
They're corruptopreneurs.
The corruptopreneurs. That's right. We're innovating a whole new way of basically being corrupt.
They are so.
They're disrupting the corrupt status quo.
Disrupting corruption, folks.
Last night, Donald Trump obviously hears the news about Paul Manafort, hears the news about Michael Cohen, heads to a rally in West Virginia, and he addresses the fact that these two men who really, it's professionally speaking, hard to come up with more names out of a hat of who would be closer to him. I mean, particularly Michael Cohen. I mean, I guess I don't know who it would be. His family members, and maybe like a Corey Lewandowski, but I can't think of anyone else who would be closer, which is why you hear a story like this from Donald Trump in his rally at West Virginia last night, perhaps in some respects addressing what went on today with Michael Cohen.
Sir, can you get this deal done immediately? I said, it doesn't work that way. I don't want to go too fast. The deal's not going to be any good if we do that. We got to take time. It's got to gestate, right? The word gestate. Yeah. It's like when you're cooking a chicken. Time. Turkey for Thanksgiving. My mother would say, 8 hours. I said, 8 hours? She made the greatest turkey I've ever had.
There you go.
That's kind of sweet, actually.
Yum, 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 yum,
I
yum.
like when he says, there's certain words like gestate.
Gestate. I mean, on some level, there's a quality of like, he seems almost freer and more relaxed. Like it's It's all gonna end soon. This
It's
is
sort of a retreat to infantilism. Like, Mom makes the turkey.
Mom makes the
I
turkey.
smell it.
Yeah, he's kind of talking in a baby voice, too.
Dad never.
Do you remember the first thing that Anthony Andamantuck did on the President Show, where he was out on the street and a truck came by and he ran up and he started going woo woo like this, and then he talked about this fantasy how he was driving the truck and he was going to drive it across the road and it's going to go off the dock and into the water, and then the truck sinks and the water fills my lungs and then I'm at peace.
Yes.
I get the feeling
yeah.
that's sort of where he's at.
You know
right
when
now.
you picture the worst thing happening and then it happens.
And then you let
it's
go.
Liberating.
There
and
you
let go. And you're in the void.
Well,
You
because
know
he
the word
says
void?
people are saying like obviously gestate doesn't mean that, it means like a pregnancy, right? But then he mentions his mother, so there's complete
No, there's
Freudian
a Freudian
stuff going on.
dynamic
Oh, yes,
going on.
totally.
Mommy would make the turkey, and that would be when Dad wouldn't beat me in front of a
And-
picture of Jackie Robinson.
Well, I also think that there's probably a quality of betrayal of those closest to him. Right? I mean, this is happening on a day where Michael Cohen goes in to court and says, I committed crimes at the explicit direction of my boss. I don't know if he said the name Donald Trump. He just simply he said a candidate running for president. Now
Hillary
it's possible.
Clinton.
He didn't specify.
He didn't specify.
I'll tell you what.
I will tell you what, I got on the phone with Michael Cohen and I said, here's what we're going to do. Donald Trump would normally be totally honest about this, but if we can arrange a payoff, boy, that sure will look bad. Michael Cohen did it along with the deep state.